Yeah. Hi everyone. I'm live. Yeah, just turn it down on the knob on the right. Hello everyone. Sorry. I came on before I forgot to turn the background music off. Hello everybody. Hello, hello. We're going to be interviewing Melissa Cynova about her magical familiar. This is our show, Meet My Familiar. I'm going to tell you what we're doing here. I'm Madam Pamita, and I want to welcome you to our little Instagram interview series that we're going to be sharing up on YouTube and TikTok, and it's called Meet My Familiar. Today we're going to be interviewing Melissa Cynova, and I'm super excited. And while we're waiting for Melissa to join, there she is. I'll bring you on in a second. I want to tell you a little bit about why we're doing this series. I have a new book coming out called The Witch's Guide to Animal Familiars about working magically with your animals, whether those are pets or wild animals or farm animals, everything from bees and ladybugs and spiders all the way up to bears and coyotes, and of course our wonderful horses and cats and dogs and farm animals, goats and chickens and all of those things. I talk about all of them in this book. There's over 100 spells in this book. It is I'm super proud of this book. It's coming out through Hay House. And if you would like to get a very special offering from me, if you pre-order the book, you can go to animalfamiliars.com. You can pre-order the book. And then once you pre-order, let us know that you pre-ordered, and we will give you a coupon so that you can attend the full moon workshop that I'm hosting in January, on January 12th. It is called An Introduction to Animal Familiar Magic. And you can, normally that's a $40 workshop, but you will get it for free by doing that wonderful act of pre-ordering the book. If you want to support your authors, if you care about your authors, pre-order their books, because the pre-order has a beautiful effect on whether you pre-order it from a small mom and pop shop or from one of the big, online shops, or from me or wherever. But that pre-order has a wonderful positive effect on the sales of the book and what happens. So, whether it's me or another author that you appreciate, it really does something very, very special. And so to thank you for doing that, I'm giving you a free workshop. We're also going to be dropping some other bonuses along the way, but if you order and pre-order now, you will get all of the bonuses. So don't feel like you're going to miss out on a bonus by doing it now. So go to animalfamiliars.com and you can find out the way to do that. So let's bring Melissa in here. Hello, BB. Here she comes. In here. Great to see you guys. We'll wait for Melissa to get in here. And great to see you. Yay!
Hey, there you are.
There you
It's been
are. Oh my
ages, sis.
gosh.
How you
Oh
doing?
my gosh. So long. Should I read your bio off of Amazon?
Oh God, I didn't even know what it says. Go ahead. We'll both be
Or
surprised.
should I make up a bio about you?
We're just
Um,
Nova.
And so this is what it says. I've been reading, so Melissa's been reading tarot cards for 30 years. Well, at that
Yeah,
point, 30 years is probably more now.
yeah.
And can tell you that they're not magical, mystical, or otherwise. The cards are cards, and you are the one who
Oh,
make them
super nice.
amazing. Her first book, Kitchen Table Tarot, provides a down-to-earth, common sense approach to reading tarot cards. It also won the Independent Publisher Award for Best First Book, so that was cool. That's what it says.
Yeah.
Her second book, Tarot Elements: 5 Readings to Reset Your Life, is coming out in 2019. That's how old this bio is. It gives you 5 readings to help you unstick yourself in the home, heart, mind, and body and soul. And then you had Kitchen Table Magic that isn't even on your bio. So I think here's a good sign you need to
Maybe I
update your
need to.
bio.
Yeah, maybe I need. Well, I've been on sabbatical for like 3 years because I've been sick, and
Yeah.
then I had mental illness on top of my physical illness, so things just sucked really hard for a while.
Yeah.
But I'm back.
Yeah.
I'm slowly coming back. Yeah, so I'll update that with no longer on sabbatical. Cynova is now doing readings.
Oh, I love that. I love that. It's so great to see you. I've
I
missed
know.
you. I haven't seen you in a million years, it feels like. I know, same. So we're going to be talking about animals and magic and any kind of spiritual work that you have done with animals. So do you want to tell us, are there any special animals in your life, past or present, that you have made magic with?
This is Luna. She's an idiot, but she's my baby, because every time I get my cards out, she's right here, and it's the energy of the reading. I know that, because I get the cards out. This is where I do my readings, and she constantly flops on them and messes with them, and is like she's grooming me right now, because I'm in the reading spot where the cards go. So she's my readings cat. I have 5 black cats because I had 4, and then we decided to what do they call it, foster a cat, and now I have 5 cats because we foster failed really fast. But I think that they're my familiars in a different way than my foxes. So I think that these are my, they help me calm down, they help me relax, they help me stay grounded. Um, Having pets, like, you have to deal with their poo. There's not many things in the world that will keep you as grounded as cleaning out a cat box, you know? And I think that the more time we spend in like esoterica, the more we need to be grounded. So I think that that's why a lot of magical creators have pets around, because it helps them stay in their skin. And I guess I need to stay in my skin a little harder than most, and that's why I've got 5. Um,
Let me ask you a question about that, because I've been interviewing lots of people, and I have, of course, my own experiences with animals and making magic with animals. Do you find that your 5 have different, I would say, for one of a better word, specialties in their
yeah,
interest in magic?
Luna she's the readings cat. And then Shuri is in my lap all the time. So I can't exist without cat in my lap. It will just happen. Um, Leia sleeps above my head at night, and Scarlet sleeps at my feet. And then we have Minerva, who's the kind of grande dame of them all, and she runs the pack. So her job is to take care of the other cats. So everybody has a job to do to help mom. And I also have 2 dogs, and their job is to keep me laughing, and because they're just so silly. And we have George, he's flopped on my rug right now. He follows mom to the bathroom. Anywhere she goes, there's the dogs. So yeah, they all have a different position that they take in my life. And I read somewhere that cats who sleep with their owners live longer. And I was like, okay, we have to get the 3 who don't. Like, we have to force them to sleep on the bed so they'll be with me forever. Um, but yeah, Leia's my protector, my little sweetie cat. So,
Oh,
so yeah, I absolutely agree with that.
yeah.
And they've kind of like, it's not like I grab Luna every time I pull my cards out. They just kind of gravitate towards their roles. So it's nice.
I mean, that's one of the things that I talk about in the book, is
Touch
how you can't
your book.
force an animal to be your
Mhm.
familiar. It's a cooperative experience. It's not training an animal, or there are some things that I talk about training in the sense of like having a flow between the two of you, but this isn't something they're not your servants,
Right. The
you
way that
know.
you wrote it was like, all right, we're in this together. Do you want to have a role in my magic? You wrote it in a very like compassionate way, in that, there are pets and they're subject to what we want to some degree, but they have their own personalities and they have their own wants and needs. And if they don't mesh with what you want, tough shit. So
Yeah.
that's too bad for you. Because I had cats before this who were not as interested in me or in magic as, and they just didn't want anything to do with it. So
Yeah.
it was then that I relied more on the fox, which is what I consider to be my magical, my non-real life. Well, I guess I've seen fox in real life when I needed to, so it gets all mystical and weird. My friend Mary, got about 25 years ago, I think, did a journey for me. She's from the Osage tribe in Missouri. And she did a ritual drumming and went on a journey for me. And she said, she asked, hi, she asked, who comes from Melissa Cynova? And she says she saw a flash of white, and then some whiskers, and then some orange fur. And she was like, and the first thing my fox said was, tell her that she needs to lose weight because she's too fat to be sneaky like me. And I was like, yeah, that sounds like Fox. That checks out. So yeah, it was, I mean, what do you expect from a trickster? Like, it works out. So I've had experiences where, like, when I was pregnant with my daughter, I was really ill, and I was driving home from the doctor, and I'm like, I don't think I can do this, man. I'm too sick to have this baby. And on a 6-lane highway, I took a left, and then I saw a fox and 3 babies behind her. And I got out of the car with my big whale belly and stretched my arms out. And as the babies walked by, she stood right in front of me and watched me. And the babies went by me, and she looked at me, and I swear to God, I heard, if I can do this, you can too. Quit being such a baby. And I was like, shit, all right. Okay, because I couldn't have like a deer or somebody very sweet. That wouldn't work for me. So I found Fox, who is a smartass, and who expects me to land on my feet. You know,
Yeah.
even if I tumble first, I have this courage in me that I have from Fox that just kind of lets me be brave. You know,
Yeah.
and he's really a big part of when I write and when I do readings. And if I'm out in the world and I'm feeling threatened, I remember foxes aren't afraid for no reason. They are very protective of themselves and their family, and they always have a safe place to go. So I remember all of these things that Fox teaches me, all these lessons from the way that he behaves naturally, and that helps me navigate my way through the world.
I think there's a couple of things that come to mind when you talk about fox. I call these animals that are like spirit, spirit animals. I call them animal
Mm-hmm.
guides. They're there to guide you, they're there to teach you, but you're not necessarily interacting with you very often. They'll kind of pop in and pop out. You're
Yeah,
not having a day-to-day relationship with a particular fox. It's the energy of
I
fox
wish,
as a whole.
I wish I could have a pet fox, but they're not legal in Missouri.
Yeah. It's also maybe not the best thing. I think, you
They smell
know,
really bad, and they're wild. They're supposed to be wild.
yeah, I
So,
think it's
but it's
sometimes,
more of a 12-year-old fantasy to have a pet fox. Um, but no,
yeah,
they're not supposed. It's not for everyday use. If I appealed to Fox every day, I don't think he would. I think he would stop answering.
yeah,
If I
yeah,
if I send an appeal to Fox, there's usually candles involved, and I'm not having a really good time of it, and I can't see myself clear of the problems that I'm having, and I just sit and light a candle and I meditate with my candle, and then I he comes, or we have a conversation, or I have a vision, or I'm stuck with this idea in my head that's the solution. Like, it happens differently every time. Sometimes I'll be like really meditating on something and really trying to figure it out while I'm driving, and I'll see one cross the road, um, and I'm like, oh, okay, I must be on the right path, you know.
yeah. They
So
share they share their energy, and I think that's such a. And I always think of fox as being like highly intelligent, very crafty in that sense that they can get out of sticky situations. So the fact that you said when you're having a problem and you can't see the solution, that's when you lean on fox makes absolute perfect sense to me.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And I suppose since I'm not Christian, they're my higher power to some degree. Like, I believe in a God, but I also believe that gods have lots of different faces and will show you the ones that you need when you're ready. And my family is native and Polish, you know, and whenever I need something, this fox that was brought to me through a native tradition, you know, shows up for me. And that's the only one I've ever seen. So that's the one that I believe in. And I have this idea that there is some big mama somewhere that has us all in her lap and sends her little lieutenants out to take care of us, you know? So,
I,
yeah.
I talk about also in the book about the animal mother spirit, so that we often look at like our deities as human deities, right, in human form. So whether it's Hecate or, I don't know, whoever you're working with, whatever spirit, it's usually a human spirit, but you can also work with the mother spirit. I call it the mother spirit of
Yeah.
the animal. So like if you see an animal, a wild animal in distress, you like I use the example like for LA, a coyote running alongside the freeway is not good for that coyote. And
Right.
so you can appeal to the coyote mother spirit to take care of that coyote and get that coyote to safety. Or if you want, like, another way you can work with those mother spirits is like if you have an ant invasion, ask the ant mother spirit to
Yeah.
like take her children out of your house to, I'm giving you 24 hours or else I'm going to
Right.
bring out the raid
Bugs in
or
my
whatever.
house have less compassion than bugs outside. I do have this I do have an affinity for crow these days because when I was really sick, I worked with the Morrigan a lot, and the crows are Morrigan's animals. So much so that I've got, a new tattoo with a crow on it, which I can't show you. There it
There
is.
it is.
He's
Yeah.
flying away. And then I have this guy, which is a crow skull.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm embracing, this is my fox arm and this is my crow arm. But as kind of a thank you for helping me get through,
My
the
gosh.
hard times. But I see crows all the time. Like
You,
my dream is to have a crow army, but hasn't happened so far.
you know
But
what? You know how you do it. I've started building my little crow army, which is
really,
you take peanuts along with you because they have great memories and they also share information. Look at that. They also share information. So if you study crows, if you're mean to crows, like there were these scientists that were tagging crows, not in a malicious way, but a crow doesn't want to be captured and
right?
tagged, right? And so they wore these gorilla masks or some kind of a mask. No, it was a caveman mask. That's what it was. Caveman mask. And so then 10 years later, they bring out these caveman masks, and these are generational later crows.
Right.
These are not necessarily the same crows. We're dive bombing them. So they gossip, they share information, and they pass it along,
I love
and
it.
they hold a damn grudge. So it's not surprising to me, Melissa, knowing you, that you pick two of the most intelligent, I would say, let's say, reasoning animals that are out there. The fox and the crow are very
Yeah.
much like figuring out problem solvers and reasoning, and they're both excellent at that. So it's a very interesting, like what we feel, what comes into our life, when we're working with an animal. It's amazing. So I have a question that I like to ask people too, because this also is a very revealing thing, that oftentimes when we have a familiar, and I'm talking about now your cats, your dogs,
Mhm.
your animals that are in your house that you're dealing with and are lending their energy to your practical magic and divination and so on. Oftentimes they come to us in unusual ways. Did you have that situation where you had
Um,
these animals come to you in unique and unusual ways?
kind of. When we adopted Minerva, I lost two cats, Poe and Daisy, like really quickly, so I was catless. And I never lived with since I was an adult. As soon as I got my first apartment, I got cats. And Poe lived to be 21. And after she passed away, it was really empty in my house. And I had a dream that my husband rescued a three-legged cat and gave him to me. And his name was Sanchez in the dream. And then, and so I called my local vet and I was like, do you guys have any black cats? And they're like, well, we have a little three-legged boy, but he just got adopted. And I was like, son of a bitch. And then they called me back the next day and said, would you mind if it was a girl? Do you mind long-haired cats? And I was like, not at all. So that's how I got Minerva. And then the next three came in. I've always wanted a lot of cats, like a little, like I not five, I wanted four, but what are you gonna do? But I got three kittens all at once. And the funny thing about that was I had the kids with me and we each were holding our kitten and the foster mother for the kitten was there. And somebody came in and said, I just found this black kitten on the side of the road. Can anybody foster it? And the foster mother was like, I can. Melissa just took my cat. So it would just happen to be all black cats and happened to be just as we were standing there. And I thought that was so cool. But I did have to tell, like, luckily I know the owner of the rescue, so they didn't think I was a crazy person asking for three black kittens.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, whoo. But but they were, convinced that I wanted them to be pets and not dinner. So, um, So they let me have them. And then with Scarlett, she's the weirdo. She's the only one who knocks things off of things, and she's a pain in the ass. But she just kind of melded in with my kids so quickly, and with like the dogs, like our dog Lucy used to carry her around in her mouth, and they're just the
Oh my
cutest.
gosh.
But she's the one who keeps us on our toes, and she's the one who sleeps at my feet and makes sure that nothing bad happens to me while I'm sleeping. But she was just so instantly a part of the family. It was so fast. So
I
yeah,
wonder,
there's been weirdness.
it's the interesting part of your story is how like the dream led to the cat, which led to another cat. And that happened also to me when I got Glinda. I had before my cat Lewis, who was a little black cat, big black cat after he grew up. I had him for 18 years. And then I didn't have a cat for like 6 years because I was traveling a lot. And I was like, oh, and it was just a lot. I had kids, travel. It
Yeah.
was a lot. And then I got a mouse in my house. And I said, okay, I had been debating getting a cat. And I'm like, okay, that's my sign. I need to get mice
Right.
out of my house. And this is that's like the thing that pushed me over the edge. And I looked at the shelter and there was this little black cat. And I said, oh, okay, that they posted on their Friday that the cat was available. So Saturday morning, I went first thing to the rescue to get that little black cat. And they're like, oh, somebody already got that black cat at the shelter because we go to the shelter, pick up the cats and bring them to the rescue. They house them at the
Right.
shelter. But we have this one other cat who was like an adult, wasn't a young cat. I wanted to get like more of a kitten and a young cat. She was an adult. Um, she was white and beige. Wasn't really kind of what I was looking for because I'd like my little black cats. And then
Yeah.
I was like, oh, wait. I picked her up and she was so chill. She was chill around dogs. She was chill around people. I'm like, she's a really amazing personality. So I said, okay, I'll take her. And she is my familiar, like 100%.
Right.
She's inspecting my candle spells. She's there when I'm doing tarot. I mean, I think she's kind of like this like headmistress of the
Right.
house,
That's like Minerva. She sits on my altar a lot, which I usually don't allow, but it's Minerva, and I'm like, say no more, cat. She doesn't chew on shit like Scarlett does.
Yeah.
But
Well behaved, good
Minerva
manners, right?
will carry around my prayer beads in her mouth and lay down on them, and like I'm like, I guess they needed cleaned. Okay, they needed blessed.
It's not
But then I
wild.
won't see her for 3 days. I'm like, cats are so odd, but I love them so much.
Same,
No.
same. Yeah, I think this is so is there anything that another question I love to ask is like, are there any tips that you would give somebody that has a animal that they'd like to build that relationship with, or they'd like to invite a familiar into, their life, or they, sort of want to enhance that relationship? What advice would you give to people who are interested in making magic with their animals around them?
Well, cats can be persuaded to do shit if you give them treats. Like if you have a pocket full of treats and you're with your cards and you want to interest them in what you're doing, that's a good way to get them over there to begin with. And if they don't want to stay, they'll just fuck right off. But it's a good way to invite into your space. And like with my altar, I always have things on there that the cats can play with so they don't fuck with the important stuff. But it's always interesting to them if they see something shiny or if they see something that moves or a piece of string. I expect every like magic bag that I put together to be screwed with by a cat, so I always triple knot it. But you can make things appealing to the cat and see if they want to join you. But honestly, if they don't want to, I got nothing.
Yeah,
If they don't want
exactly.
to, I don't know. It's going to be really hard to get them to do that.
Yeah. I mean, I think, one of the things is looking for, and if you're wanting to invite that animal into your practice, is to just, one of the things I think is to be open as to who that animal is going to be. Like, if I had said, oh, I only want a black cat, I would never have gotten Glinda, who's an amazing familiar. I mean, she's probably the most actively involved in my magic familiar. I mean, she's phenomenal, right?
Right.
And if I had been, that kind of, oh, I don't want a white and beige cat.
Right.
She was also a little chunky, and I'm like, oh, I've got to put her on a diet and get her healthy. She's going to be some work. That was so easy to do. I just put her on wet food only, and
Yeah.
then she's
And
been
that's
fine.
the other thing too, is that there's work in pets. You can't just have them.
Yeah.
You have to work with them. And as an owner, you have responsibilities. So I would caution people, if you can't afford it, then don't get more than one pet. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think people
Expensive.
think about that often enough. If you can't afford your own pet, because God, cat and dog food has gone up exponentially in the last couple of years. And you have to make sure you have a budget for it, because you never want to suffer or have your animals suffer, for God's sakes. So I think that, before going willy-nilly into deciding that you want a cat as your familiar, make sure you can afford it.
Yeah. And the
You know?
vet, you have to give them shots and take them to the
Mm-hmm.
vet. And that is, we think about like, oh, it's expensive to go to the doctor. It's infinitely more expensive to go to
Yeah,
the vet than to go to the doctor. You have
we have pet
insurance.
insurance, man. With 5 cats and 2 dogs and a tortoise, we've got pet insurance. But
Yeah.
even then, what could have been $2,000 is $200,
Yeah.
but that's still not nothing.
Yeah. And then, I think the other thing to think about is that if you don't want to have the responsibility of a pet that you have to take to the vet or things like that, then you can start to work with wild animals and start to connect to wild animals. And there's so many ways that you can do that. Everything from plants
Mm-hmm.
that you plant for them, or just being in their environments and spending time respectfully in their environments. I mean, there's so many lovely, lovely ways, and those are free. Those don't
Yeah.
cost anything, and they can lend their magic as well,
I've asked a friend. She has an elk as her familiar, as the one that chose her. And we have Lone Elk State Park in Missouri, and she just drives through and she can see them without putting herself in harm's way. And she goes through like once a month to reconnect with her spirit animal.
So
And I think
good.
that's really sweet.
So
But
good.
it's a smart way to do it. Like, I love foxes so much, but I also know they'll destroy your furniture. They'll pee all over. They're meant to be outside. So we have an animal rescue center not too far from me, a wild animal rescue center, and I'll visit every like once a year and just get my hit of seeing how gross foxes are in real life. So I make sure I don't want them anymore. But it's nice to reconnect. And when I see them in the wild when I'm not expecting to, it's just a bonus day. It's a gold star day.
Yeah, it's such a, and also too, there are a lot of wildlife rescues all over, and like farm rescues. That's another thing, is that you can hang around with these animals in environments where you can have maybe more close encounters,
Yeah,
and support those rescues, and you can maybe spend time with them. But you're not having to pay for their care or learn how to care
yeah,
for them. They're already in good
yeah.
care, there. So that's another way. Absolutely. Well, okay. So now, what would you like to share with everyone about what you're up to, where they can find you, all of those, anything you want to promote, any things that you want to
Um,
promote?
right now, I'm actually just coming off a sabbatical. I'm just now well enough to start working again, which is awesome. But I have readings are open at melissacynova.com. And I'm working on 2 books. I'm working on a tarot deck with Christine Gorman called The Fine Young Unicorns, Queer as Fuck Tarot. And the other one is a book of protection magic that I'm working on for myself, called Kitchen Table Circle. And it's
So
about the
good.
different, circles that we can create in our lives to protect ourselves and protect what we own, what we have. So, and it's slow going because I'm still getting better, but both of them are well on their way. So, but I don't have any. I'm not doing classes right now or anything like that because my energy is just not there yet.
Yeah.
So this was actually the first like Instagram live thing I've done in a while, because it's
Yeah.
you and I do anything for you.
Oh my gosh, you are the
Yeah,
best. I just love you so much. I love you to the moon and back for sure.
I'm back.
So so everybody can check out Melissa at melissacynova.com. You can get a reading. So you have an email list there that they can
Yep.
sign up to see when you start doing a little bit more. If you do a little bit more, or when your books come out, they can find out about that. Yeah. So sign up
Yep.
on her email list and you can keep in the loop. She's an amazing author, amazing teacher. And so you'll want to be in on that when those things start rolling out. And if you don't have her books that are currently out, Kitchen Table Tarot, Kitchen Table Magic, and the Elemental Tarot
Tarot.
Elements, Tarot Elements. Those are amazing books and wonderful, easy. I think they're like very to me, very accessible books, which I love an accessible book that makes it feel like
Thank
you're
you.
just hanging out. I feel like when I read your books, I'm just hanging out
That's
with you and you're
the best compliment I could possibly get. I love that. And I hear that sometimes that it's it's like they can hear my voice when they read them, and I
yeah,
think that's the most magical thing of all.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah.
So,
You're so
and someone,
grounded and such, I mean, you have really solid, great information, new ways of looking at things, but it doesn't feel like this kind of like preachy, I don't know, you know what I'm saying. It feels like you're just hanging out and talking. It's so
someone
good.
asked, will the book include protecting personal property? Yes, it will, but that is one of the least magical things. I have people like put runes and trace with oil or whatever, but man, iPhone tags or those iTags are amazing. Apple tags, so people don't steal your shit. So that's actually a part where I'm like, you really need to look into technology, because magic will take you so far, but common sense will get you the rest of the way there.
Yeah.
And if you're worried about somebody stealing your bike, make sure it looks just like your bike and you personalized it in some way, and then smack an Apple tag on it. you
Yeah.
know so you can do all the blessings and magic that you want to it, but you have to let common sense and technology take you the rest of the way. So
Absolutely. I think there's this whole thing to be said for material and spiritual together, that
yep.
temperance card energy anyway.
Balance. The card of Sagittarians, which I am, which does not feel correct, but
You know what? You ought to check out, I want to say something. You ought to check out the Silver Acorn Tarot by Stephanie Buscema. I wrote the book for that deck. The temperance card is a fox.
stop it.
Yes, the temperance card is a fox, and she's gorgeous. I don't have my deck. I'm at work. I'm not at
That's
home. Else I'd show
okay.
it to you.
Who
Yeah,
published who
she
published
did
it?
it herself, and it's gorgeous. She's a reader herself, so the card quality is really good. So you can
That
find her
perfect.
deck at stephaniebuscema.com. It's like Steve
Really
Buscemi,
good.
but with an A instead of an I. Buscema.
I,
Buscema.
I've been really good lately. I deserve a new card. So a new
Yeah.
deck. And someone said magic is the science we don't understand yet. Absolutely. What was magic in the past was that the sun kept coming up. And then we figured out why that happened, and it became scientific instead of magical,
Yeah.
you know? So absolutely.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for spending time with me, and just talking to you is amazing. I love you so much. And then
Thanks so much to
um,
you.
talking and finding out about your animals, which I didn't know, that you had so many, and didn't know about and so this has been a really fun interview series because I'm finding out about, personal life things about all
Yep.
these friends that I love, magical friends that I love so much. Our next, so I want to remind everyone that if you would like to pre-order the Witch's Guide to Animal Familiars, you can go to animalfamiliars.com and find out how to do that and get a bonus $40 workshop. I also want to let you guys know that I will be interviewing Chris
Oh,
Honoreo
hey.
tomorrow.
What's up, nephew?
And so I'm going to be interviewing him tomorrow at 12 noon Pacific, 1 Mountain, 2 Central, 3 Eastern time.
Perfect.
So that will be over here, and we'll be doing that. And I want to thank you again so much for
Oh my
taking the
God.
time.
Totally my
And
pleasure.
and I'm
You
so
guys,
glad.
this book is really good. I read the whole thing, and
Oh,
from cover to cover, and it was so interesting the way that each animal's specific gift was pointed out, and just so it's so meticulously done. It's perfect.
oh,
You did
thank
a
you
great job.
so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for taking the time to read it and write a
Of
wonderful
course.
little blurb and all of that. All right. So thank you again. I'm so glad you're coming out of hibernation, and I honor
Mhm.
your hibernation. I'm, totally was like there knowing that you needed that, but I'm so glad to hear that you're slowly waking up a little bit
A little
and
bit.
taking it at the right pace for you. Absolutely. And I look forward to seeing more of you doing magical, wonderful things in the
All
world.
right, darling.
All
Thank
right.
you for having me again. Good to see you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.